Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Talsy. Today I want to talk to you guys about when you're manifesting, like manifesting an SP, for example, a relationship, and the dreaded spiral that everyone talks about. And you guys know that this is like the word, right? Like don't spiral, what to do when you're on the verge of a spiral, etc. I want to talk to you guys about it because I was there. I used to spiral all the time. And I want to explain to you guys a little bit more about like what does a spiral really mean when you're manifesting, like in the context of your progress, how to maybe stop spirals, and also my personal methods for how I took care of this and nipped it in the bud. Because the truth of the matter is, guys, particularly when I first started out manifesting years ago, and I was doing like a lot of techniques and affirming a lot, and I would just get a little bit and then just get hot and cold, or some days I was very hyper aware of silence, or I was doing all this checking and obsession and all the shit that you guys who relate to this probably have gone through or are going through. I want to tell you what my method was, what my realization was, and why I no longer spiral, and what you guys can do so that I can help you to put an end to the torture, right? So let's get into it. So if any of you are like how I used to be, and you keep checking and you keep feeling anxious and you keep feeling like you're having racing thoughts, or even some of you, you're seeing a circumstance that you don't like and immediately jumping to the conclusion that nothing's working and that everything is undone. And I've seen circumstances as well, guys, pop up. So I know what that's like to react to that and to feel very emotional about that, and then also to react to the reaction and have an assumption that this means everything is fucked. Then I'm going to explain to you what's really going on, because I used to go and I used to then feel like everything's collapsing, and I would lose like days to that experience. Okay, so what's really going on, guys? I want to reassure you first and foremost that a spiral doesn't actually mean shit unless you assume so, okay? So the fact of the matter is, if everything is now, which I really, when I went beyond just doing affirmations, when I really integrated the whole understanding of what we're doing, when we understand that we're consciously selecting reality, the fact that everything is now, a spiral, even a 3D second ago, moment ago, or even days ago that went on means nothing to the now moment. So you always have the opportunity to choose again in the now. So I would argue that a spiral actually never means that you don't have your thing, your person, or your person showing up exactly how you want them to, or even that they're not going to come in and actually, deliver or reflect what you've been specifically affirming for, right? But like in the case of a spiral, I do want to explain to you that whilst a spiral doesn't technically mean anything, it's what you think the spiral means. So I touched on that at the beginning. It's like, if you think this spiral now means that this is going to take a long time, forever, or it's not working, or you don't have it, well, your reality is always going to confirm you, okay? Your reality is always going to prove you right. So what does a spiral then do? Well, then you continue to think from that place, and you continue to get more and more confirmation. Potentially you spiral even more. And therefore that's your reality, right? But guys, your desire is already made because creation is finished. So I want to assure you first and foremost that, like the illusion that you don't have your desire, it's actually not true and it's not real, okay? So don't worry, you can always bring yourself back to the now moment. It's just about being kind of gentle with the fact that you have done that spiral, or maybe you have done something or reacted in some way that's not really serving the version of you that knows that you have your desire, because you are the one that's in complete control and you are the God of your reality, right? But so if you do have a spiral and then you start assuming against and assuming this spiral means all sorts of things, and of course, then you're just going to keep repeating the cycle and the torture, right? And so it's not so much your reaction, but your reaction to the reaction, okay? So I do want to touch on, obviously it's important that there is a level of consistency in you assuming in your favor, and we know this about manifestation, right? Consistency and persisting until something hardens into fact, right? So if you're in the habit of assuming against yourself, then yes, your reality is going to prove you right. In the same way, if you're in the habit of assuming that a spiral is the end of the world, well, your reality is going to prove you right. So I would suggest, guys, getting into the practice of coming back to the now moment and assuming again, naturally, consistently, as the you who already has what you want. even grounding yourself, taking a breath, bringing yourself to the now moment and seeing that this is an opportunity to assume again. And what you assume to be true is true, guys. And so we know that. So when I started doing this, the constant checking, the over attachment, all that stuff started to ease. And I did get the validation much faster than what you would realize. All the evidence that you're looking for when you're spiraling, when you're freaking out, when you're anxious, when you're reacting is just you reinforcing something that doesn't belong to the identity that is accessible to you now. And when you get in that habit and practice of being that identity from the now moment, breathing into that, assuming from that place and having that knowing that you are the one deciding, then you're going to be that version of you also that is much more unbothered, detached, not checking, and you can absolutely then persist from that place in just focusing from the identity that knows that your desire is a done deal. So you're actually probably not going to be as tempted or as often tempted to check, check your phone, check the socials. You're probably not going to be having the anxiety that, you would from the identity that's uncertain, etc. Assuming against, you're probably going to be pretty relaxed, okay? And even if you aren't, guys, I'm not telling you have to be relaxed, but if you get into this practice of like, okay, I recognize that I've had a spiral, or I'm about to have a spiral, or I'm getting very anxious, or I checked, or I saw something, or I'm about to check, or whatever. If you can bring yourself back to the now, breathe into it and go, okay, this is my opportunity to choose again because I'm the one that decides. And you assume again, and then you rest in that knowing that what you're assuming right now, it's a done deal. I promise you guys that this consistency in returning and persisting in that identity can very quickly take care of a lot of issues, and you're going to find that you get the confirmation. This is when your SP actually does show up how you want it, what you've been affirming for, that thing that you thought or you were thinking worst case scenario and having racing thoughts about. You flipped it, right? So you've come back to the now and you've chosen again, and your SP shows up very quickly and reconfirms from that place. You stop, worrying about things like circumstances, etc., which, by the way, the circumstance that you were focused on like a moment ago when you've chosen again disappears, or it's not what you think it was, right? Or thought it was. It can flip so fast. So guys, I went through all of this and I did put together a special tool, a practical guide. It's not a course, but something simple that snaps you out of a spiral, brings you back to the now, and actually lets you take back your power in the now moment, and so that you don't lose your day or your days or weeks, right? Questioning yourself, obsessing, letting like something that you saw like a temporary reflection or assumption that wasn't serving you, like kind of, just persist. So check it out if you want to, if this is you, so that you don't get stuck just affirming and then seeing some results and then suddenly finding yourself in a hole because you are either reacting, obsessing, checking, freaking out, feeling anxious. And it's a simple fix, guys. It's a simple fix in just realizing how powerful you are and the power of the now, and just like choosing again. And when you get in the habit and practice of doing this over and over, watch how quickly your reality flips for you guys. When I did this, it was more because I suddenly had that realization that I was in full control, that when I assumed again and I chose again in the now moment, I reclaimed my state of being. That's when things started to happen much faster, and I got like the text that I wanted. I heard what I wanted from SP. All the issues around me obsessing about third party, no contact, etc. They went, and like I actually saw the momentum, the movement that I had been obsessing about from the other state, the absence of it, okay? So I do want to remind you guys, even if you do spiral, even if you do check, it's never an indication you messed it up, but you can always choose again in the now. Everything is now. There is nothing telling you that you have or don't have or can't have something except you and how you're perceiving things, and you're a perception shift away and a decision away from everything moving. But you do need to stay consistent in having that identity, the perception that what you want is already yours. And when you're thinking from that place and you're building that consistency and returning in the now, things become much more effortless. You also naturally start to just assume in your favor, and you get all the confirmation, right, that you're looking for. And so this practical tool that I mentioned that I put together, it's called Stop the Spiral, and I put the link for you guys in the description box of the video. It's literally based on my method and what I did to overcome a lot of pain that I had at the outset, where I was just getting hot and cold results and kind of feeling like there was a big delay often with my manifestations. I was only just getting a little bit and things were going out, or I was like, you know, struggling with a lot of over-attachment, obsession, and issues. And either way, guys, this is just your reminder that a spiral doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you have lost anything. You can't lose out, okay? Nothing's been created or lost. Everything already exists. You're the operant power. Your reality responds to who you're being. If you stick to the identity of being the you who has it, a shitty thought, a spiral, you know, an emotional moment doesn't mean anything to what you're choosing now, okay? So if you can get into the practice of just even reminding yourself that, and then returning to your decision of who you are and assuming that you have your desire, you're golden, guys. Nothing can fuck that up, okay? So your desire is a done deal. Sending you guys so much love, and I'll see you guys soon.